Hello, this is Ross Marquand. I'm here with Don. Want to say hi to Jimmy, Casey, Steven from the Dead Truth Podcast.
Jimmy's mic's out. Hey, everyone. Welcome to the Dead Truth Podcast. It's Casey.
Dawn.
Steven.
Dawn. Where'd you go?
I think Jimmy had to drop.
Jimmy
have a mic problem.
Jimmy's like, nope, I quit. This guy's, I'm out.
Let's try this again.
Every time, guys.
There he is.
Every time.
All right. And introducing for the first podcast, we have Lance. How you say your last name? Is it Herota? I forgot to ask you that.
Yeah.
Herota. Nice.
Herota. That's awesome.
Lance, welcome to the show.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. Don and I had the pleasure of meeting you at the last camp.
Yep.
And it was so great to talk to you and just hear about your Walking Dead experiences. And we even talked about some upcoming projects at the time. Black Panther 2 was coming out.
Yep.
So yeah, man, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Welcome.
Yay.
Everybody.
Awesome.
And you were saying this is the first time you've done any podcasts or anything, right?
Yeah. Oh, and I see Lisa Bright. I signed her car a long time ago.
Cool.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Very nice.
I signed it in the dark with a migraine after work one day, and I felt terrible because it was a terrible signature. And she asked me to re-sign it, and it's like, okay, Nick and Norns. I'm like, I can't get there today. Like, I'm so sorry. So I kept missing her, but I know I owe you a thing. I'm sorry.
That's awesome. No, much love in the comments section already. That's awesome.
Yeah, this is awesome. Hey, everybody. Just a big dork. Nobody special. The guy who falls down for money, sometimes in makeup.
Right.
Hey, that's pretty special.
It is pretty special.
That's what my mom says.
Aw.
All right, guys. So what's the first project you were working on, buddy?
So I got my SAG card on Spider-Man Homecoming back in 2016. So with stunts, the double-edged sword, or not double-edged sword, the catch-22 is you can't join SAG-AFTRA until you've worked on a SAG contract, but you can't get a SAG contract until you've joined SAG-AFTRA. So you're like, well, how do I get hired? Well, you got to work. Well, how do I work? We got to get hired. Okay, so you get what's called tapped art lead, where, okay, like you're either a skill or a look we need, so we'll go ahead and we'll taft you, and then that way you're SAG eligible. So I went to a meet and greet for that show. It was called Summer of George was the working title, and my friends were like, oh, hey, are you going to that thing tomorrow? I go, oh, what thing? They're like, oh, never mind. Like, oh, no, tomorrow's the hustle for Spider-Man, but it's, I'm like, well, is it only for people who are SAG? They're like, I think it's open. So I went, you bring them your headshot and resume, and they kind of ask you, what's your background, what do you get at? And then I was a pool boy doing Uber and Lyft and cleaning pools. And I was on my last pool of the day, and the phone rings, and they're like, hey, this is so-and-so from Summer of George. Are you free to work next week? And I was like, is this for like background work, stand-in work? Like, no, for stunts. And I was like, oh, yeah, I'm free. And I got in my truck, and I go, what is Summer of George? I don't remember even submitting to that. And then, you go to the Google it, and it was like Spider-Man Homecoming working title. I'm like, so yeah, not even crazy. It was just the gag where the New York ferry is splitting in half, and we're all just like, oh no, Spider-Man save us. It was this giant scale ship they built at the back of Pinewood, cut it in half at a diagonal and put it on hydraulics, and then on action they would elevate it to a 15-degree pitch and open the middle, and they've got fire hoses shooting water up and stuff and all the effect sparks. And then the guy on the director, yelling, okay, and you're scared. Okay, you're being rescued. And they start closing the bridge back together. Okay, and you're relieved. And, so it was a lot of fun. So that was my first job ever doing stunts. And I'm like, I don't got to fall down. They're like, no. Can I fall down? No. Okay. I was like, this doesn't feel very stunty to just kind of hang out and just not fall off the edge. But no, it was great. It was so much fun. And to see that kind of scale for sets and stuff, going from, doing only television stuff, doing background and stand-in work, to go into a Marvel production like that, I'm like, oh, this is what Marvel money gets you.
Right?
Oh, okay. But yeah, so that was after that. I was really just fortunate to meet other coordinators along my career and stuff, and just to kind of lead some more work. So I got really lucky.
That's cool.
So did you want to be into stunts or did you want to be an actor?
Always stunts. So I grew up in Orlando. My dad was a firefighter growing up, retired from Orlando Fire Department. And then his part-time job was doing the fireworks at Disney. So he would get us passes every once in a while to go to Disney. And so that's where I saw the Indiana Jones show when I was like 6 years old.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. I still do. And that bug just never went away of like how cool I thought it was. Because grew up in the fire department, I'm like, I'm gonna be a firefighter when I grow up, which is what I did right out of high school. Got my EMT and firefighter and started doing that in Florida. But the stunt thing was always just kind of like that cool factor.
Right.
And I did Halloween Horror Nights for 13 years at Universal Studios doing stilt walking. And then 1 year I was on the chainsaw team, and my chainsaw coordinator's brother-in-law is a stunt performer. And his name's Chris Letts. And so I'm like, this is kind of weird that you happen to be here and I'm here and he's a working stunt guy. So I was like, can I get his email address and just pick his brain? Started corresponding, giving me a lot of advice. You can't really try and do two careers. You got to either pick one, and you either got to leave Florida, move to Georgia, New Orleans, California, New York, and go firefighting and pursue this full time, or, and so I took that and I was like, all right. So after I moved to Atlanta, started doing background work to get on sets, meet people, and then knowing the stunt folks that I knew and training, it still took 3 years to get my first day of stunt work.
Wow.
So it was tough to break into. It was hard. But once you get that hurdle of your SAG card, and once you're in, it's a pretty small community. So as long as you're, doing a good enough job, professional, people like to be around you, word of mouth spreads, and it's a lot of, hey, who do you know that's available to do this? Oh, I know, Lance. I just wrote Lance on this show, and I think he's free. And call him like, hey, what are you doing? Nothing.
Right.
Or nothing. Do you want to work? Always. So it just depends on your skill sets, what they need, but it's been good.
I got a question for you. So, is there a particular stunt that you've done that sticks out in your mind that you were starting to do it and you were thinking, wow, this is really dangerous, a stunt that stands out? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely what you would consider high profile gags. So for me, I'm not a driver, I'm not a big wire guy, but I do fire burns. So with fire burns, fire is one of those gags where if it goes wrong, it goes real wrong, which is why, it's good to know who your safeties are, who's running it. And, because our main goal in stunts isn't, we're not daredevils and we're crazy. It's all about, we want to leave how we show up. We want to keep, safety's always in the front of our vision. That's what we're focused on. And, how can we bring this vision of what they've created to life safely? But with fire, once you're lit, that's fuel, that's fire. You got to have your safeties, your extinguishers, your blankets, whatever you're doing for the means of extinguishment. All that's got to be, golden. But when they have the ambulance right next to set, those are the days when you're like, yeah, today's probably one of the more high profile risk days, because they have a meeting. All right, no one can talk right now. And you're like, it's kind of when you realize the danger involved, but that the people who have your back, you're gonna be safe. So I mean, that's why it's kind of fun to be like, let my friends on fire at work safely. It's great.
Right.
Yeah.
And then coming from being in fire rescue to now getting lit on fire, the dangers of fire, what it can do, and then but yeah, that's been kind of the days where you're like, yeah, this is the day where it's a little more risky.
So I'm sensing a lot of fire stuff then. The fire stuff kind of every now and then gives you maybe a little bit of pause.
Well, not pause, but I just feel like as long as you're not even fearful, but cautious.
Not fearful, but saying I'm really about to set myself on fire. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And I think the mindset is that to make sure you're being safe, in your brain, you're going over the things that can go wrong and what you're going to do if they go wrong. And then, you're knowing what your team's going to do if things go wrong. They've got backups for backups for backups to make sure that even wrong is still safe. Not wrong, but if it goes wrong, there's still backups for safety where you're not ever in danger. But yeah, fire is one of those. But it's fun though. Like I was supposed to do a job on Conjuring 3, doing a full body burn as the main villain at the end of the movie. And it was right before everything shut down because of COVID. And they kept pushing the date. And I was like, I just want to be in this horror movie. I want to be lit on fire. Like, I can't wait. And they were already in reshoots. So they just ended up rewriting that whole end of the movie. And they changed the kill for the villain. It wasn't a fire burn. I forget how they killed her off. But when I watched it, I'm like, I hope it's not a fire burn. And I just didn't get called back for it. And I was like, nope, they just didn't do the fire. I'm like, all right, I don't feel totally bad.
So have you had a moment where you were like scared or like questioned, hey, do I really want to do this?
I mean, there's gags where you get kind of the adrenaline's going, like especially for the firework, like, all right, well, once I'm on fire, like it's out of my hands because once you're lit, there's enough fuel. You can't really roll it out for big burns, at least. You can't just roll yourself out. You're fueled. So for those, you just got to worry, like not worry, but that's why you don't just do it like people in their backyards. You got to make sure that they're professionals, or they're people that you train with that are fire safeties, are all stunt people as well. But okay, like once I'm lit, it's up to my friends, my family, whatever around me to make sure that when I'm done, we're done. So you'll have cues like you can yell hot, hot, hot. There's where you can go down to hand cues, like pat the ground. They know, okay, once you go down, starfish, whatever, like, hey, something's wrong, put them out. So,
right.
But otherwise, you just go through the whole direction until you get through your moment. So like I had one it was the scene where the satellite crashes and starts the woods on fire. And it was going to be initially a full body burn, whereas, you're literally head to toe, just fully just raging. And then I got to work and I saw my wardrobe and stuff. And I was like, oh, so I don't see a massive amount in prosthetics. They're like, yeah, we changed it to a partial burn and we're going to do some stuff different. I'm like, okay, cool. So we got to set and they were like, okay, so you're going to walk through a flame bar that's going to ignite you. Then you're going to get shot with an arrow on a mark, and you're going to roll, and you got to hit this mark on the ground because there's already a flame bar under that. And we made this mannequin already. You got to match this mannequin when you hit the ground, which is like this.
Wow.
So, okay, so reaction, fall to that mark, match that mannequin face down. They're like, you want to try it out? I go, no, you can just run it. Like,
really? Wow.
So we did it once, one and done, landed in the right spot, and all dead zombie.
Amazing.
Hooray! But that was a fun one. That was a lot of fun.
Barbara Cass had a question. Have you any injuries at all?
Not any horribly bad ones. I was on a show and I got hit by an actor on accident with a prop weapon and got a concussion.
Oh, no.
Gnarly black eye. Go ahead.
No, I said, oh no.
Oh yeah. But I went to a stunt school, not realizing that like most stunt schools aren't really like a thing. It's kind of like going to bartending school. There are a few like legit ones out there, like driving schools, especially those are legit for driving because you can't really learn driving anywhere else now. Before you go rent out a rental car, get the insurance and just tear it up. So some companies are starting to charge like rental fraud and insurance fraud against people that are doing that because they're like, tires are all bald. Got it like that. Just like, no, you didn't.
Right.
But like the windshield was broken. Oh yeah, it was a deer. Like, no, you were doing car hit practice. Like that's not. So at the stunt school, it was just kind of one of those things where it was a money grab. I didn't know it. And it wasn't really done what I would call safely. And I don't know if it's still up and running anymore. It wasn't in Georgia. It was somewhere out of state. But the guy was, back in my day, we didn't use airbags. We were doing this fall from 10 feet into a crash pad, just like one of the 80s ones is like the burlap sack material with the foam blocks inside. And we're doing what's called a header where you go head first and then tuck to your back. But I over-rotated, landed like I was sitting down, and knee goes right in my face. And I'm laying down, I'm holding my eye, and the guy upstairs was like, I heard him break his nose just broke. And they're like, open your eye. I'm like, it's open. Oh.
Yeah.
I ended up having a broken nose. I shattered my eye socket. This is all an implant down here now. I had a
Oh, wow.
concussion. And the guy goes, "You're gonna go to the ER for a black eye." And I was like, "Well, I can't open it." That guy up there heard a popping noise. So yeah. And got to the hospital. I hung out the whole day until like after lunch, and then I finally went to the hospital. And they did a CAT scan. And they were like, "Yeah, you need surgery." And then with the surgery, they were like, "Yeah, your entire floor was shattered."
Oh, man.
Didn't know I'd broken my nose until a few years ago because they had tunnel vision and missed the nose. Got that finally fixed. But not a lot of major injuries. I mean, a lot of stuff hurts, but you don't get injured. You get bruised up and banged up. But I've been pretty fortunate. Knock on wood.
That's crazy.
I've been hurt more doing just growing up stuff and playing sports than I have working, fortunately.
Right.
And I'm not good at the comments. If I'm missing stuff, yell at me. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're good.
You're good, man. You got anything, Casey, before I ask another one?
Yeah, Lance, I know we talked about another walker you did at the beach.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that? That was very interesting.
Yeah, so we did that at Jekyll Island. That was the opening of season 10, if I'm not mistaken. Right? Okay, yeah. So we're like, "Oh, we're gonna go to the beach. We can't wait." It was so hot and so miserable that they bought us all T-shirts that "I survived Jekyll Island."
Oh, wow.
And like when production spends extra money on anything,
Right.
like, okay, it was that hot. We weren't just complaining. It was literally miserable, but it was still kind of fun. But yeah, so that was almost a 4-hour makeup. I think I have a time lapse of that one on my Instagram. And if you watch in the window in the background, you see the sun coming up in the trailer. This is like a 4:30 a.m. call time. And then we got to film. But the driftwood was made of foam. So it was 2 pieces bolted together. And all the stuff is made of foam. And I'm trying to be like a submerged walker, but I'm floating. And so I kept getting brought in by the waves each time the current would come through. And I get yelled at, like, "Oh, hey, you got to go underwater." I'm like, "I'm wearing like 2 life jackets. I'm trying."
Right.
So the stunt coordinator had to come out and literally put his foot on the driftwood out of frame and hold me underwater so I wouldn't float. So I just out of frame when they're having the waves like coming over my head. There's the boss man just out of frame and hold me underwater with his foot. And then when they knew, okay, and let him up, I'd kind of come out of the water and try and walk out. And I had fake feet too, like the foam rubber feet. And the whole bottom of that ocean right there, we were at Driftwood Beach for that, was clay. So it's like walking on ice. So I'm sitting there literally like slipping around, trying not to break this giant piece that they have built and not fall over. And they're like, "Can you do it less crazy looking?" I'm like, "I'm just trying to not fall over. I'm sorry." But we finally got it. And while we were doing that, they were rehearsing because like 100 feet away, just out of camera, was where we were doing that scene where we all came out of the boat, that little tugboat, So I was one of those guys that got killed with the arrows also out of that scene. So right when they go and do the march and do the arrows, I get hand pulled and killed on the beach then too. But yeah, when we were doing this, they were all rehearsing that right next to us. And then we did that the next day. Equally hot. We were sitting in pretty much bathtub water in that little boat until it was time to go.
Oh, wow.
And then we were like, "Oh, it'll be fun. We're getting handled into the sand. It's going to feel cushy and soft." But it was low tide. And so it was like just sandpaper concrete. So like a hand pull, we're wearing just a Hong Kong harness around our waists. And there's pulleys dug into the sand. And there's a bunch of dudes on wires at the end. 3, 2, 1. And you just yank and just.
Oh, wow.
You're just hitting like, yeah, that's hard. Everyone good? Good. Where do you go again? Always. But no, that was kind of fun. We had like a little bit of downtime too. So like, hang on. I'm not good at names. I'm so bad. I'm embarrassed. Cooper Andrews. Oh my gosh, Jerry was right outside. Yeah, he was. Yeah, exactly. He was right outside the like tugboat door. So like in between takes, we're all just kind of hanging out talking. And I was telling Don earlier, I believe it was, that most of the actors don't know who we are out of makeup because they only see us in makeup. And one of the good about being a stunt person on just like The Walking Dead is a makeup thing. You get brought back over and over and over and over, and you don't know because you're different makeups. Whereas like if you're a live person on a show and you're like FBI #2 and they see your face, they can't bring you back as like stunt bus driver. No, you're burned. We saw you. You can't come back. But like Walking Dead is just repetitive. Like we're gonna change your clothes. You know, same makeup. They just changed the outer stuff, and there's so much going on. You usually can't tell unless you're like, you know, diehard fans that know what to look for, and they're like, "That's the same one. I remember that. He was over there." And
Don can do that.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of that, let's take a look at some of your stunt work here.
Yeah, I need to update. This stuff hasn't been touched in years. It's a little bit outdated, but I'm working on it.
Yeah. We can still see some of it. Let's see here.
Yeah.
What's happening? There we go. Hold on. So is that you right there?
Yeah, that's a real bad. I felt that one.
Ooh.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So under all my fire stuff, I was wearing a chest, like a back plate, like you wear on like sport bikes, but under all my front stuff. And I told him, I was like, Andy, I'm like, give me the business. And he was like, all right. So he would get me solid thing, and he had to hold it there to make sure that the fuel lit for that one.
Wow.
So that's why he kind of holds it to make sure it catches all my fuel on fire.
Gotcha.
Wow.
Man.
Awesome.
Oh my bad. I tried to stop in that shot. That was a good shot.
And I'm like, look at the camera. They're like, yeah. I'm like, it feels so weird to look at the camera.
Right there.
Oh, wow.
It feels weird to look directly into the lens. I'm like, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
But no, look right at the camera. I'm like, I don't want to. It just feels uncomfortable.
That's it. That's a great shot right there, though.
That is.
Jason goes, Tybee is worse. I'm glad we didn't film there then.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. Jekyll is pretty bad, man. Jekyll. I go to Driftwood Beach at Jekyll sometimes, and it gets super hot out there.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize that. You know, I've been out there, but I didn't realize it gets that hot.
It was beautiful
Yeah.
though. Sadly, like we were like right on the beach and like these like little hotels and stuff, but the beach itself had that hurricane come through, so like all the ocean front was like washed out. They're trying to rebuild the beach still, so a lot of it was shut off. But
Oh, wow.
it was still really pretty. There was some thunderstorms that came through. We got to watch that, and then it was when the turtles were coming through laying their eggs. So we had tried to go do a turtle watch, but the one group was full, and then it was thunder stuff. We couldn't do it later either, so it's kind of a bummer. But some of it actually got to go do it. Lucky.
All right, here we go.
Sorry, it's being laggy and stuff for you guys.
Is it?
Maybe just for me. I don't know.
A little bit.
That was my first gag ever on the show. It was my first walker ever.
Oh,
I love that rolling. I remember that.
Yeah,
Hey.
we did that in 2 days because we did one day where there was only 4 of us, and we did about probably 15 or 20 different areas of just falling down the hill. And then they were talking, they were like, we don't know how they're going to edit this to make it look like there's a bunch of you when it's just 4 of you just moved all over. And then sure enough, they had to do reshoots, add a few more stunt people and zombie stuff, and just, hey, when you get to the end, it just because normally when you're doing kind of falls like that, you're able to kind of get your bearings and use your arms and legs to kind of stay where you want to go. Whereas as a walker, we can't use, once you do this or this, it completely ruins the shot because you've shown like you're cognitive, and they're like, nope, can't do that. So you got to redo it and make sure that you just, once you go down, just let it happen. Gravity. Tuck your head.
So I'm gonna leave it on mute just in case anybody wants to say anything or tell me to stop it, because
well, you're good, man.
Yeah, do your thing.
put a little music to it.
It's 34 degrees. That's a cold day for the beach.
Right.
I don't know if Greg ever did his own makeup. I mean, he might have done some things, but I'm sure for them it's hard to do your own complete appliance. But he's been walkers a bunch of times in the show. I know he and Norman had the final episode. You can tell that Greg was one of the walkers when Norman goes by. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Did he ever work on yours directly?
Nicotero?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He was a director on a bunch of ones that I worked on.
Awesome.
I don't know if I was ever a walker with him, but I know I've worked a lot.
Okay.
On what he's done. Even where he wasn't directing, he was usually around and involved because it's so hands-on for the makeup and everything that they're just always kind of like, man, those guys and girls are just, to watch them create what they create. Like, you're sitting there in the chair and you watch them do it. And when they get done, you're still like, I don't understand how you made it from here to here. And I watched you do it. And I'm still just like blown away.
Right.
And then, you go to lunch, people won't sit with you because you look gross. And they're like, no, I'm going to throw up. I'm going to go eat over here. And you're like, I'm sorry. Just eat by myself. Don't look at me.
Will.i.am was asking how many zombies have you been?
I've done 41 episodes, and then in some episodes, like 1102, I think I was 9 different walker kills in that one.
Wow.
Like, that one was funny because I'm like chasing Daryl through a sewer tunnel, and then he turns around and I get hit with a crossbow on the face and I die. And then he turns around and he kicks the sewer grate open, and I'm the zombie he kicks the sewer grate into also.
Yeah.
Like, he just kills me, and then I get like kicked in the face right away, and then I get killed like a Morning Star, the mace. He just. But those are kind of fun. I'm like, oh, it was that one and that one, and that's everyone's favorite.
Oh yeah.
And here, I was about to say, here's everybody's favorite here. So let's.
Favorite way you died? Always.
What was that? What was wearing that helmet? How was wearing that helmet?
It was different. So we had eye holes like drilled into the, like right where I could kind of see. But my first day showing up for my first fitting for that, I think it was the coordinator and producer talking, and she was talking. She was like, "We're just concerned he's going to break his neck or be paralyzed." I go, "What am I doing?" "Oh, well, you're going to be tied behind your back. You're going to be in a helmet on a 6-foot pole. End of the pole is going to be Andy Lincoln." And I'm like, okay, because Andrew, when he's Rick, he's Rick. So he's Rick the entire day, which is great because when actors are aggressive, it comes across good on camera.
Nice.
And that makes our jobs easier. Whereas when actors are kind of like afraid to make, like, I don't want to hurt you. I don't want to. It's like, well, I don't want you to hurt me either. But I don't want you to be afraid of like making the action look good.
Mm-hmm.
So for this one, we had 2 fittings. We had one rehearsal day with only stunts. Then we had a day where we brought in Mr. Lincoln and worked all the choreography. So he knew all the choreo as well, but he wasn't controlling any of the head motions. He was following. So his shoulders were loose and he knows all the choreo. So he's there with it, but he's not actually controlling it. So I'm the one doing all the stuff. So he knows it's not going to just snap my neck off.
Really crazy.
So yeah, so he was great at the choreography. He never got carried away. It wasn't any point where it was like, oh no, don't do that again. It was like it was solid. It was just hot.
No, that's cool.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you explained it that way because that just shows the stunt part of it. It's
Mhm.
not, you're not just doing this for YouTube, you're doing it safely.
Right. Yeah.
That's awesome,
it's
man.
a dance. It's amazing if you got like a dance background or like, it kind of helps because you think of it as like choreo, beat.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, then after this. And so that was
That's
just, it was
crazy.
weird being tied up and then not being able to like scratch my nose or like feed myself. 'Cause I was telling you, I was tied up like that for 3 hours before lunch. We broke for lunch, and I was like for 5 hours after lunch. But again, like they were asking, if you need to get out of the rig, we can untie you. Just let us know when you're done. If you need to get out, we'll get you out. But if you pause it, you're gonna get paused. The way they tied it was so elaborate. I'm like, you will never match these knots ever. You're gonna be untie it and retie it. So I was like,
Right.
I'll just go ahead and I'll stick it out. But when we got done, my arms were like twice the size they were. They were so swollen.
Oh, wow.
When you go to the gym, I can just tie my arms and just get swollen like that. When we're working out with
Oh, I was trying to stop it.
Cheat code.
Oh, you're okay. There's so much.
And
stuff
how long did it take to film this scene, or how many days?
So we shot that. I think we finished it in the first day, but we had to do reshoots of just having the neck tear.
Oh,
So we did all the main stuff for here, and then I got called during reshoots. I think it was, I forget what time of year it was, and they were like, "Hey, so we just need to get some inserts of the neck tearing." So went
And
back in,
you're
did
talking
4
about-
hours of makeup. I'm sorry, go ahead.
ooh,
Oh, I was just
wow.
saying, you're talking about this right here, right?
Yeah, so that's a robotic head. So that's the makeup guys are doing puppeteering on remote controls, and then you got one guy down low with the thing blowing the blood out.
Oh, wow.
But for having the head tear, they put like blue silk inside the prosthetic. They cut it open, put blue silk inside, and then kind of added some gore and stuff around the outside, so that when they do VFX, they can do the tendons and all that stuff tearing. So we had to go in, did all the makeup. We shot for 15 minutes, and then we're done. So I was like, all right, here's 4 hours of makeup. All right, on set, 15 minutes. Okay, good night. All right, good night. Lily just had to go and just do this and run around in circles and do that, run around in circles, and we were done. I was like, that was an easy day of
Wow.
work.
Oscar, what's up? Oscar just joined us. He's in the comments.
Hey!
Hey,
Mr. Oscar's Red Hat. If you guys don't go to the camp, you need to go to the camp in May.
Yes,
It's
we'll be there. I think all of us are going to be there.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
yeah, we'll be there.
Could
Right.
you show
Oscar that you've
behind
done.
you on the wall?
What's that?
Can you tell us about the mask behind you and what
Oh
they?
yeah. So this one, I was so gross and sweaty, I was able to like kind of unpeel all the pieces. So like the prosthetics are usually you get put in a bald cap first. So even usually our ears are covered up, so they're fake ears as well. It makes kind of hearing kind of awkward. But I was so gross of that one, I was able to kind of peel off all the pieces as one whole piece and keep it. But that one's from when I'm trying to eat a trooper, played by a stunt guy named Kirk. And Mercer comes behind, and I get my head split open, and he saves the guy's life, and then it's a reveal that shows Mercer. That one was fun, but it was kind of weird because I had to do like they wanted a close up of just the walker trying to eat the face, and so I had to sit in an apple box. They had the camera like right here, and I had to get real close and just do a bunch of like biting and stuff. Like now, big teeth, bite. Yeah, you can hear it. You keep going, and there's like I feel so weird looking at the camera. It's so weird. And then that one was from the very last day of reshoots of the very last episode where they did the reveal of Rick coming out to the beach. And that was kind of a separate unit because when they do kind of really high profile secrets, they'll do a really small crew to avoid anyone leaking, like an ending like that where, oh, and Rick comes back. Like that would have been, horrible if someone had leaked that. Like when they did the Glenn kill, when Negan killed Glenn, my buddy was doubling Negan for that one, and they had to kill every single actor so that even the crew, unless they were part of like knew what was going on, didn't know who was getting killed. So they were like, well, who is it? Well, only the actors knew and only these people knew, but everybody else was kind of like left in the air. So that one I was right under Rick's legs, like laying in the water. I'm just barely floating, and we've got like I'm holding onto a root in the sand at the bottom so I don't float away, and just playing dead floaty.
Nice there. Don, be that day, huh, Don?
Actually, when I saw that, I was like, they didn't bring Rick back to get his foot bit, did they?
Right.
Well, that was cool too because the head that he stabs in the sand is a robotic head, and
really?
he was like, "Can I stab that for real?" And they were like, "It's the last day. Go for it." He just
no way.
And they used it. It looked great. It looked so good. And one of the other guys was not close, but close enough to feel like don't miss.
Right.
Yeah, he was far enough away where it was safe, but it was just remember this is the fake head. That's the real head. Don't stab the real head.
Right. Hey, while we have Oscar, I just wanted to show off real quick some artwork of his.
Oh yeah, he does really cool stuff.
He does. And this is not mine. This is actually from us to give away to a fan.
Oh,
and so we'll try to figure out a way to have a drawing for this. The idea I was having is I know Don's always done like scavenger hunts for us. So I think it'd be kind of cool to maybe do a scavenger hunt for this where like remember Don, you did like take a picture.
Yes.
So like, get a picture with a Negan lookalike, get a picture with one of us. You know what I mean? So maybe we'll do something like that. But yeah, this is definitely not mine, and I wanted to make sure that just kind of give everybody a sneak peek because the camp is just right around the corner.
Yeah, I'm excited.
So yeah,
and thank you, Oscar, for inviting me back. I appreciate that. Looking forward to it.
Oh, nice.
Thanks, Oscar.
It'd be good to see you again, Lance, in person. That's awesome.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. It was my first convention I did last October, and man, it was great.
Dude, first convention, first podcast. You're just doing
you guys just bringing me in.
Wow,
Nice.
that's original, guys. Oscar.
Oh yeah, that is original. And
Pretty sweet.
Oscar was telling me he doesn't do copies. It's all original, and it's all it's like it's usually done on like he does them on pizza boxes or just cereal boxes. And so yeah, just scrap paper he has finding around. He does all his art, so it's pretty cool.
I have one too. I have one too that I might donate to the giveaway.
Oh, sweet.
Oscar original.
Yeah, he
This
had
one's
like
from
a
back
whole
in the day.
showroom set up, like right across from where my booth was at the last event, and I got to walk through there a little bit, and there was some cool stuff in there.
Right? Yeah.
And he's like, "It isn't mine." I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah.
oh." I can't paint. I can't draw. That's why I
Same.
I
can't even draw. Right?
Draw a hell of a stick figure, though. I tell you that much.
Yeah.
I can't even draw a stick figure.
I never got into the comics or the graphic novels.
Okay.
I'm not much of a reader of anything. I get bored. I bore myself. I'm like, I gotta do something. I gotta get up.
Same.
And then for the show, it's so weird because like when you work on a show, it's not hard to watch it, but you watch it differently. And so usually I'll kind of skim through to see, okay, one, did my gag or gags make it in the episode? Because a lot of times I end up on the cutting room floor. So you like do this really cool gag. Like there was one I did where it was Jesus, and there was where they're at the hilltop and the tractors like rolling over walkers and stuff. It was a night shoot. I get this really cool leg sweep from Jesus into a flat back on gravel. It hurt 6 times. And I get stabbed in the face, and I'm like, I can't wait to see it. And then I watch it, and I was like, oh, they didn't use it. And I was still pretty new to stunts, so I didn't realize how much doesn't make it into episodes or into shows. And so I'm like, oh, hey, everyone, watch the show tonight because it's going to be me getting killed by Jesus. And then it wasn't. And I'm like, I'm a liar. And I'm sorry. You weren't in The Walking Dead. I was like, I was, but I wasn't in it.
Right. That's tough, man. That's a lot of work, And
yeah, and I'm like, I forget if it's features of television. I forget. They keep changing the rules and everything. But if you don't get pictured, you don't get residuals. And I'm not sure if that's TV or movies. I always forget. I get them confused. I need to look up again. But you're like, oh man, to make sure I get my mailbox money, I hope they use me in this. I'm like, okay, there I am. Good. I get residuals.
Right.
Yeah. So what other movies have you been in?
I've had a pretty fortunate career. If you go to my Instagram, it's just Lance_stunts, and I've got my IMDb link on there. But movie wise, we talked about my side card on Spider-Man Homecoming. I did After, doubled Hero finds Tiffin, who was Ralph Fiennes' nephew, played Voldemort. So I was like, I'm essentially kind of Voldemort. Then it was a real small fight. He did it himself. He looked great. And I was like, you don't even need me here, man. This is the fight. You do it great. I did I Want You Back on Amazon, double on Pete Davidson. I had to do a hot tub cannonball. Just kind of that day I was like, oh, cool. I get to go from my balcony into a hot tub as a cannonball. Don't miss. The needle. So that week I was like, can we just do it? Because I was sitting there and I was like, just want to get it done. Let's see, Black Panther Wakanda Forever, The Suicide Squad, will Pete on that as well. Willy's Wonderland. It was Wally's Wonderland.
Oh, you were in that?
They changed the name halfway through. I don't know why, but it was Wally's and changed to Willy's. I doubled Kai Kadlik on that. It was just it was one day. It was just a gag where I was like, we're on a roof, and I tackled Terrell into like a pad. It's like they're going through the roof into a ball pit.
Yeah.
It was real simple. It was just one tackle, and we were done. I think I have some behind the scenes pictures on my Instagram where I like in the scene where all the stuff's drawn on the walls, all the satanic stuff. I'm just like in my wig, just looking around.
Okay, I know what you're talking about because I watched that.
I think
That's
it's
amazing, man. Like that movie totally crept up on me. Like I
uh-huh.
was like, I don't know. I felt like I didn't want to watch it there for a little while. I thought this just looks, you know what I mean? It doesn't look like
Yeah.
my cup of tea. And then
I
I sat
think
down and I
yeah,
didn't have
so right
nothing
you
to do
just
and I
passed it.
watched
Yeah,
it.
It
so
was
up
enjoyable,
a little
man.
bit. If you go up just a little
I
bit,
loved it.
you just passed it. So a little bit more up.
More up.
So yeah, so those are from Willy's Wonderland. So that and to the left.
Sweet.
Yep, so that was Kai.
Oh,
Super-
that's who you doubled. Nice.
yeah.
Love the wig.
Don't look at the wig. Don't look at it.
Nice.
It was such a blur on camera that the wig, they were like, we're never gonna see it. It doesn't need to be perfect.
Yeah. Okay. Here's another shot of you two. That is awesome, man.
Yeah, he was real cool. He was a super nice guy. And then I think
How was working on that set? Was it pretty different? Because I mean, that's a different kind of movie.
it was fun. I was only there for the one day. It was just such a quick thing. Didn't meet Nicolas Cage or anything. It was just literally just a few of us and some of the actors. But yeah, I mean, it was all kind of like in one giant stage, and they had all the small stages built. It seemed like I don't know if they were.
Oh, here's the room.
Yeah. I was like, it's all satanic.
That's
Right.
amazing.
No, I love this. I love this movie because like the whole concept, it just reminded me of like Showbiz or Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah.
So I had to watch this, and it was pretty cool.
I
Yeah, I mean,
slept
like,
on
it
it, but
wasn't
then
a
I watched
true
it and it's
horror
good.
film. It's more of a horror comedy, I guess. But I was like, I want to
Yeah.
like a real horror movie. Which I was so bummed that I lost Conjuring because of the COVID shutdowns and doing that burn on that. I was so looking forward to that.
Mm-hmm.
That's DC. He's the director of photography. Makes all the shots look good.
We got
Oh yeah.
DC is cool, man.
DC's awesome,
Yeah.
man. He knows his stuff, and he's always like every day at work. He's always real cool, down to earth, never in a bad mood. Like
That's
everyone,
awesome.
man. That show was so fun to work on because it was literally like a family. It's always the same people, like every season almost, and so everyone knows everybody. It's all kind of just like, even if like departments didn't get along with each other or whatever, because things happen. People get short-tempered, but no matter what, everyone always comes together to finish what needs to be done to make the shots work. And so it's just kind of cool to see how all that happens. Yeah, that was the haves and the have-nots, Dublin, Michael Galante. Did like a bar fight. I got a beer bottle like smashed on my head, and I was getting in front of like mashed potatoes and steaks and stuff on booths in a restaurant. And
Nice.
that was fun. That was the Suicide Squad, and I was platinum blonde and ruined my hair for forever.
Oh, you were like one of the taken over Starro victims or something?
So no, so that was actually they had us test the masks because they were gonna put I think 250 background in Panama in those masks.
Wow.
We had to check visibility and show tell legacy effects. Okay, so visibility we can't see any of this. We can't see here. We can't. This is what doesn't work. So we built like a little course of obstacles and just doing the Starro walk, running around.
Gotcha.
And, okay, make these holes bigger, make these here instead, and they just changed the mask and altered them.
Okay, so you guys like beta testing it. That's cool.
Yeah. Because I was on the core stunt team for Suicide Squad, so I was doubling Pete Davidson, but I was also killed as the guards. And
No way. That explains the hair.
that's why I'm platinum blonde. Yeah, they're like, hey, so they might want to bleach your hair. Are you okay with that? I was like, knock it out.
Oh, so that's not a wig. That's real.
That's hair. Yeah, I didn't
No
realize
way.
how bad the process hurts. I don't know how girls do it.
Right.
So my hair is almost black. That was 3 rounds of bleach.
Whoa.
And then toner. It took 3.5 hours. And when we added the toner, my head was so raw. I thought it was just gasoline and a match. It was like I'm tears. I'm like grabbing my legs. I'm like, they're like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, we got to get it done. We got a match. I was like, we're already in it. We're not going to stop now. Just let me know we can wash it out. And I'm like, we're probably good now. I'm like, let's go wash it out. And it was funny because the hair trailer we were in, the sink didn't work in that trailer. We had to go use the sink in the crafty room at one of the sound stages, and we're washing my hair out in the sink. And people are coming in to like get their lunches out of the refrigerator. They're like, what are you guys doing? They're like, bleaching this guy's hair. Like, okay.
That's awesome.
In the craft services room? Yes.
That's awesome. Yeah, be sure to follow Lance.
Yeah, DC's one of the good ones, man. That's a solid show, man.
Yep. Be sure to follow Lance at Lance_Herota or Lance_Stunts. I'm sorry.
You're good. I'm nobody special, but yeah, follow me. I haven't posted in like 3 or 4 months. I need to post again. I'm bad at that.
I hear you.
I think I have a full-time job trying to do social media.
I know.
Like I've got friends.
If you need I do video editing, so if you need help putting your new reel together, let me know.
Oh, great! I'll let you know. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just trying. Like I've got friends that have like on their refrigerators the times of days to post things because that's when the traffic is there and like what hashtags to use. Just because there's algorithms, you know. So it's like, I got to post at 2 p.m. on Tuesday with these hashtags, and then I'll get more views, more likes, more follows, and I'm like, that's a lot of work, man.
Yep. My daughter actually does social media for a weapons store down here.
Oh, really?
South Georgia. Yeah. So yeah, she's always telling me about the analytics and all that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I did it for Nick and Norman's in the Woodbury shop for a few years, and man, it's harder than you think. Like it sounds gravy, but it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Is that definitely the basement store, right there on?
Yeah, the Woodbury shop.
That's a cool shop, yeah. And then Nick and Norm, you can't go wrong there. You know, we'd always like after work, like beer.
Yep.
All right, come get a drink. Get some food.
Yeah, we need to go one night at the camp.
Yeah.
We'll go grab dinner there.
Absolutely. Never get enough. Love that place.
Right.
And everyone's super nice too, so it is a lot of fun.
Right. What's your go-to there at Nick and Norm's?
Ooh, way to do one of the flatbread pizzas.
Yes.
A stout for a beer. Yep. Or something fattening. I'm a fat kid at heart.
Philly cheesesteak fries. That's
those are good.
Yeah.
Like my film career should be my 600-pound life, not like the Walking Dead zombie stuff. Because like I should be ginormous. I just
all the calories you have to intake,
all the things. I'm like, is that bad for me? Okay, is that fudge? Okay,
that's awesome.
Pizza and fudge. Okay.
So Lance, is there a goal you have, or somebody you want to work with, or a stunt that you want to do that you've never done?
I want to get into driving. It's an expensive path to go into because when you're driving schools are legit schools, but you know they're trying to pay for their wear and tear, the mechanics and stuff, because you go through tires, you tear transmissions and all that. So to learn those skills, it kind of costs you a lot also. So just trying to get my ducks in a row, doing a lot of house projects where my money's kind of funneling into this versus like being able to. I want to go do. They just had training on a helicopter, doing propelling out of that. One of our stunt coordinators that's local to here has his own helicopter pilot, all that stuff. But you know, when you're paying for their time, for their fuel, for their helicopter, the use of a helicopter alone, all that stuff, you know, they got to charge for what their time is worth. And so for me, like I wasn't just able to do that right now. But yeah, I was going to learn new skills and learn new things to try and do new things. So driving would be one of the tops to get good at, because you don't want to be driving through malls and crashing through stuff that you want to do just in traffic, but getting paid to do it.
I know, right?
So that's definitely a goal. And then just, I mean, not really goals, but just I guess like things would be cool. You know, like Tarantino would be one awesome to work for. Be cool to double Keanu Reeves, but I know, you know, those A-listers, they already have their go-to doubles. Usually they're in the contracts already. Oh
wow.
It was just kind of fun to see like what the calls show up as. Like, hey, we want to hire you to double so-and-so. And you're like, oh, cool. I'm like, yeah, I'm totally free. It's kind of a surprise. So that's always fun too, because you never know what the phone call's going to be for.
What was your favorite experience of all movies in general? What was your most memorable moment?
Probably the Suicide Squad, because that was my first time being on the core stunt team for a movie. So when you're on the core stunt team, it's not just like, okay, we're going to bring you in for rehearsal and stuff, and then you're going to do your gag, and then, okay, you're here for a week, you're here for a day, you're here for 2 weeks. You're there for pretty much the run. So you're doing all the previs, so you get to work out all the big stunt fights and all the big sequences with just the core people. If we got to bring in more, you bring in more. But it's fun to be involved in all of those, to bring those scenes like to life. Because we'll shoot it in our stunt training space. So like at Pinewood, we were in our own warehouse and stuff at the back of Pinewood, and we build all the sets out of cardboard boxes. So we have the blueprints, we build the sets out of boxes, and we do all this stuff. We're going to do it, and we show the director. So for them, it was James Gunn. Okay, here's how that's going to look. What do you think? Oh, I like that, hate that, change that. We'll dial it in. And then they'll use that to show when they bring in the stunt people on the day of doing that or the week of doing that. Okay, so you're going to watch this person, you're going to watch that person. Here's what you're doing. They'll rehearse it, figure it out. So that was kind of fun being involved in kind of all aspects and getting to build on those things. And then getting the hair bleached, that was a new one, completely just changing how I looked. I'm like, why would you do that to your hair? I'm like, because I got paid to do it. I didn't hate it. But they dyed it back to brown because I had to do some more kills as like guards and stuff and a couple spots in the movie afterwards. Lit some people on fire on that one. That was a lot of fun to do that too. I wasn't on fire, like my friends on fire, so I get to enjoy that. Eric Linden ran that. He was the head fire supervisor for it. And phenomenal. We did some massive burns on that one. So yeah, that was good. Everyone was safe. But it's been probably my favorite project so far. And just all the guys that ran it were from Australia and New Zealand. They were the guys that did Mad Max Fury Road, Ghost in the Shell, Triple Frontier. And dude, the Australians, they're a different level of skill. Like these guys are in their early 20s and they can just run laps around me. Like I was like, oh, I don't even feel good to stand next to you because you're so awesome. But they're just so talented, so just friendly and family oriented. And I hope they come back because those guys were phenomenal. But yeah, that was a fun one.
Anissa's got a question for you here. It says, Lance, tell us about a time when you were starstruck with someone that you worked with.
It's weird because it's excuse me, it's not like when you see people like out in the street, like, oh my gosh, that's so and so. You kind of who you're gonna see because you're working with him. But one of the coolest ones for me was Reba McEntire. I did a pilot with her. It didn't get picked up, unfortunately. I was doubling like the main bad guy on it. We just did the pilot episode and it didn't get picked up. But I was in the trailer getting my wig and stuff done, and then she comes in and she was playing a sheriff in this, and she was also producing it.
Oh,
so she's already all done up as her sheriff uniform, and she walks behind me like, that's a good look for you. And I'm like, oh, it's fucking Reba McEntire.
Nice. That's awesome, man.
And we were doing night shoots, and this is why I like her so much. We were on nights. We had kids on set working, so kids can only do like a hard number of hours, and there's no OT. It's like they call it pumpkin. You pumpkin, you're done. You're out. Like so many hours. So we had to shoot the kids out first, then shoot Reba out because she had to leave from set to go to the CMA to perform in Nashville.
Oh,
so
wow.
She got on her tour bus from set at like 4 a.m. to go to Nashville to go perform. And before she left, she gave every single person, background, stand-in, stunts, crew, big hug. Oh, thank you so much for being here. Thank you. Like everybody before she left. And I'm like, she's the star. She's the producer. She's exhausted. She's got to go work again right now in Nashville. But she still made the church. She told everybody personally, thank you before she left. I was like,
that's awesome.
That's cool. So you add that with my parents and stuff loving her and how long she's been around and everything. And I was like, that was like, that's Reba. That's cool.
That's cool. No, that's great.
But all the actors, it's just kind of cool to see them like, okay, man, it's like in a work environment, it's different because you're like, okay, we're about to fight each other. And you're more focused on the choreography or like the performance involved and everything else than you are like, oh, that's Andrew Lincoln Rhymes or oh, that's Jeopardy Morgan. Like you're more like, all right, I'm gonna come try and bite your face off, and you're gonna kill me in the head. It's gonna be great.
That's awesome. Can you talk about what it's like to like being at the camp? Interacting with the fans. Like,
oh man, it was so fun. It was like doing this. I just BS and just talk way too much.
It's all good.
Thank God I didn't really have a line because it would have been way too long because I just don't shut up. So like the volunteers are like, hey, you got people waiting. I'm like, oh yeah, sorry. Not to be rude, but I'm talking your ear off. And they're like, they can just kind of move to the side and still listen. So I have a hard time like doing the crowd control. I'm just like, what do you want to know? I'll talk to you forever. So that was really cool. I tried to do my prices like not stupid where people won't actually pay for stuff. I'm like, I don't, because it's weird to look at yourself and like, I'm going to charge you for my autograph to sign my name. It's like, it feels kind of weird, but at the same time, I'm like, no, I get it. But everyone was so nice. They're all like dressed up and everyone's just real happy to be there. Like there was no frowns. Everyone was like super stoked. They're all just, we're going to go do karaoke. We're going to go do pies with Cooper. And we're going to go do laser tag. And it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, there was a lot going on. There's a lot to go on at the camp.
So I was like, I'll just hang out and BS and talk. And what do you want to know? And that's just kind of what I did. So
nice.
what we're doing now.
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
But I've always talked too much. Like growing up, I was always written up for talking. Like when I was in like 4th grade, I don't remember it, but I would leave my chair and go like talk to kids in the class during like whatever the teacher was doing. And they'd write home like Lance would leave his seat and go talk to students during whatever. I'm like, I don't remember doing that, but
Nice.
I'm social, I guess. I don't know. Sue me.
I know.
Right.
Like, I'm going to move you from my friend. I'm like, well, if you move me back there, I'm going to talk to them too. So they're
Right.
friends.
Make new friends.
I'll talk to whomever. You gotta threaten me.
Right. Right.
See, so there you go. Go see Lance at his table. You're going to be at this camp, right?
Yeah, so this one is
Yeah.
May 27th, 28th.
Mhm.
Yep. Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, you go see Lance for some good quality time. He'll have a good chat with you.
Too
Oh,
much chat.
Well,
You'll
on
get
the
bored.
podcast-
Just shut up and I'll stop talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the podcast, it works out.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Great photos too. He'll do some walker faces.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I just went through. I was telling you guys before we started the stream that I went through. I've done 41 episodes of stunts as walkers, and some I had 9 different walkers in an episode. So I had to get all that stuff ripped from a website that does that stuff for you, and then comb through all the footage and be like, all right, let me find stills that look good that I can do like 8x10s on that aren't fuzzy, and then I can find some good ones. And then I got to meet with the dead cards and get them some stuff so that he can get some trading cards to be able to give out this time and sell fit the camp. And
Yeah.
That's so cool.
It's the record for most zombies played. It's I mean, maybe Will.i.am asked if I have the most walkers played. I've done the most episodes minus the stunt coordinators, and I think the main stunt doubles.
Wow.
So it's probable I've done probably the most zombie stunts. I got on the very end of season 7. I think 7/13 was my first episode. So yeah, so it's been pretty condensed, which is the good thing about being makeup. They just bring you back over and over and over. As long as you don't complain and it's too hot. I don't like that it's itchy and I can't touch my face. And we can put mouth jail. We call it mouth jail, where you got just all this stuff in your face and you can't eat your food and you're trying to eat lunch and you're like trying to get your rice into your mouth, and then you've got this big like scoop in the prosthetics where all the rice and steak sauce and food falls into. So you get this nice little soup and then all your drool. So it's pretty gross.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that sounds like it.
I need a dead card. He's gonna do apparently a bunch. So yeah, we'll have some cards at this he'll have cards for you guys to buy. I guess
we gotta trade you, Lance. We gotta trade you.
Yes. So I just gotta go through and see which ones he wants to use, because I went through all the episodes, took me a couple of days and just sitting down for hours trying to like frame by frame. And then some I'm like, which one of those was me? I know it wasn't that mob of kills, because like when they're doing like the minefield, there was so many of us. I'm like, I don't know where I was in that. I just know that they were like, all right, you're gonna stand right here. We've got a mortar gonna blow peat moss and cork into your face, and you're like, yeah, ready, set, poof, just fake dirt and just all soft stuff, but it's fine.
Oh wow.
Like, you ready? Yeah. Make me dirty.
Nah.
That's crazy.
Notorious Negan in the comments. What's up, buddy?
Okay, hey.
He looks more like Negan than Negan. I saw him at the camp and I was like, that
Mhm.
he looks more like JDM and JDM does.
Right.
Wow.
That's what I'm thinking of, right? That's the one that looks like identical, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's good.
Dead on.
Mhm.
Walks like them.
Yes.
Talks like them.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh, that's what we need. Will.i.am Bo asked, did Funko make a pop as your Winslow 2.0? Jimmy's the pop
I
expert.
was so mad because I was like, I'm gonna be a toy. I'm like,
Right?
I'll be a toy for this one for sure. And then I wasn't, and I was like, wow.
Ah,
I know, and they quit making the action figures, so you would have definitely made a good action figure.
I didn't know that. My only cool thing of merch I got to be in was they did a Walking Dead calendar, and I was Mr. August as being on fire, where the one where Carol shot the arrow in my face. So it's just me, just like.
Oh
Fire.
wow.
And I was like, yeah, that's how it feels to shoot in August in Georgia. That's about what it feels like you're on fire.
Right.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
around the time they stopped making so many of them too, around the McFarlane area, and with the Funko Pops, they only made, I think, that last series. They had a Maggie Carroll and a couple others, but I wish they would have.
And Dog, yeah, Daryl and Dog, and that was it.
Yeah,
That was it. And they did a Judas one too, but that was it.
it would have been
Gotcha.
cool.
Yeah.
So everybody spam Funko and say we want a Winslow 2.0.
Right?
So,
Right. Hit them up on Twitter.
Tell them, trend it.
Hey, did y'all see in the camp? Lydia's gonna be there.
oh yeah, it's pretty sweet actually.
That'll be a good one. I haven't met her yet, so that's great.
That's exciting.
All right.
All right. Well, I think we're at the end here. Before
Sorry,
we
I
go,
just talked so much. I don't mean to.
oh
like,
no,
Hey,
you're
No.
good.
you are
Yeah,
the
you're-
guest, man. That's who they want to hear. They hear us all the time. No, we want to hear from you.
Yeah, the comments were active. You're getting positive feedback, so it was great.
And I
Everybody
saw
enjoyed it.
Somebody asked me. They asked it twice, and I feel bad. They asked my favorite walker. I think, yeah, Missy. Which one did you enjoy playing the most? The most fun I had, I think. Well, Winslow 2.0 is cool because people know that one the most.
Mhm.
But my favorite walker was in the basement with the Lucille getting hit with the bat and get lit on fire, because I got lit on fire with Lucille from Andy, who plays Rick, and then I get killed at the end of the scene by Negan, who gets it back. So I was like, I got killed by Rick and Negan with Lucille, and the only scene where Rick gets Lucille and it's on fire and I'm on fire. That's pretty fun one.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
That is.
No, like, you guys are all great. Thanks for doing this. This is a lot of fun.
We appreciate you being on.
Yeah.
Man.
Hey, real quick, I have a meme I just want to show. It's my favorite stunt meme I've seen out there.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wait, Jackie Chan.
And that guy is on another level. So like,
Right?
That's awesome.
Another level.
Our
I
fight
love it.
coordinator on Suicide Squad was the only white guy in Jackie Chan's stunt team, and Richard Norton is a bam fit. Like, he's older, but he'll still wipe the floor with you. Like, we were just hanging out. He was just kind of messing around. I was kind of punching the arm real hard. And you're like, ow. Like, he gave our one friend a dead arm so bad he had to go across the street to the chiropractor and get his arm like worked out because he couldn't feel like. You're like, yep, you're strong.
Oh wow.
Speaking of Jackie Chan, he's doing the voice for Splinter in the new
The Ninja Turtle.
Yeah, the Ninja Turtles movie.
Yeah.
Animated
It'll be a
movie.
good Splinter.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's the same. It looks like it's the animation style is kind of like Into the Spider-Verse a
It
little
does.
bit.
It's kind of glitchy
Oh,
looking.
it's
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the trailer just came out today. I think it's called
Mhm.
Mutant Massacre. So
Oh.
check it out. Yeah, the trailer's on YouTube.
Yes,
Ninja
Mutant.
Turtle
I think it's Mutant Mayhem.
Mutant Mayhem.
Thank-
There you go.
yeah.
Sorry.
It's a little less violent.
A little less violent. Yeah, still for the kids, right?
Massacre. Like, oh.
Now, if they stuck to the original comics, they could get away with the massacre
That's-
thing. 'cause
that's true.
Yeah, they
It
were
was
dark.
dark.
I'm a big Ninja
John
Turtles fan.
McFour is coming. Yeah, those guys. Those are all 8711 guys and girls, and they're incredible action designers. They did
Yep.
Atomic Blonde. They did all the John Wicks. Like, they're
Oh yeah.
the bees knees. I can't wait for John McFour to come out.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you guys in the comments.
Absolutely.
Thank everybody for coming. And
Is there
Lance,
anything, any upcoming projects we can keep an eye on for you, or
I worked
you
on
announce?
Shazam, which comes out I think this month.
Okay.
Right? Is it this month?
What is
Security
it?
Odds?
Shazam.
Oh, Shazam!
Yeah, it was just I'm one of the SWAT guys, and we just like run through a bunch of extras. It didn't feel like a super stunt day much. It was just like, don't hit the background, don't fall over. Like, okay, so just a lot of just sprinting and being like, "Whoo, I'm glad I'm in shape."
Right.
Just full blown. Everybody probably did.
That's
20
right.
to
Cooper's in it.
With
Another
that.
Walking Dead. You got Cooper Andrews is in Shazam.
That's right. Yeah.
Two Walking Dead
that
people.
was fun.
Nice.
We were under an overpass in the shades because we weren't just like out in the sun. But yeah, so you might see my face. I don't know. We had like a face full of camera, and we had to just acting to it. So I don't know if they'll use that or not. But
Cool.
You might see me.
I'll keep an eye out for you, man. Because yeah, I already got my tickets, so I'm gonna go.
Awesome.
I'm going Thursday when it opens.
Heck yeah. Well, thank you guys so much. If you have any other questions, feel free
Yes.
to ask. And if not, I'll let you all get out of here and do your things.
Yes, Lance. Thank you. And I hope you enjoyed it.
Oh, it was so fun. This was great. My first podcast, my first time.
Nice.
Sorry if my audio wasn't good. It's only the
No, it was coming in great.
No, you're great.
For all your fans, it was like raspy or gross. Blame me.
Oh, we'll have you on again, man. You're more than welcome to come anytime. This was awesome.
Please, so I don't shut up. So,
all right, I'll get our sponsors up, Jimmy.
All right, no problem. All right, guys. Walking Dead Harrelson, Auto Rats Plus, Water Tower Tours, Abraham's Army, The Camp, Survive the Night, The Woodbury Shop, and also Georgia Tour Company. Miss Dawn?
Patreons is Melissa and Ben Gilbert, Barbara Katz, Eliza Jones, Carol Jameson, our very own Casey, and me.
Whoop, whoop.
Appreciate the Patreons, guys.
Yeah.
We love you all.
Yes.
Appreciate
Thanks
you, buddy.
for watching.
Thanks again, Lance. Thanks everyone for tuning in.
Thanks.
Thank you. Have a good night, guys.
Have a good one.